We have a bloated public sector, and it is basically tail heavy public sector because it's like the unskilled staff has been slightly bloated because all these have been political appointments.
So Dhananath, this document, like Professor is saying, one thing it covers is the deficits. Particularly, let's talk about the budget deficit. Right, it is now ballooned out of control. How does the common minimum program for economic recovery start addressing this budget deficit issue that we have? What are your big ideas here?
On the public sector management, we have few ideas. One is first to Shamindra to we have a bloated public sector, and it is basically tail heavy public sector. No discrimination, but the unskilled staff has been slightly bloated because all these have been political appointments. So what we have recommended first is to freeze all public sector recruitment, and there was a concept called green sheet concept where if you have a new vacancy, imagine if someone retires and you have a vacancy, you use the available resources in the system rather than recruiting someone new. So likewise, you basically bring it down on one front. And the second is to have hard budget constraints on SOEs. Because as we know, our petroleum corporation have lost about 250 billion for 4 months. And our Samurdhi allocation is about 50 billion for the entire year. So likewise, we have so many other SOEs. We have been spoken about it quite extensively. To have budget constraints for these SOEs, you can't fund their recurrent expenditure through taxpayer money, or now it's borrowed money from the central bank literally. That cannot be done. And also a key privatization has to be done, Shamindra. We are focusing on Sri Lankan Airlines because in fact someone asked, like, do you have any personal issue with Sri Lankan Airlines? Always you are asking to privatize Sri Lankan Airlines. Did they treat you bad in a flight or something? I said, no, it is because they are colossally loss making and everyone knows that. Yeah. And that gives a proper signal. And I think it's easy to do the privatization. The challenge would be we really don't have the setup to now these carry forward the privatization process, because our states, though we have 1.5 million state employees, our state structure is so dismantled. There's no capable people in the system who can really push it through a privatization process, because it's not like a simple sale. You have to do so many analytics and all that. So that's another idea. And also I think we have to liberalize some of those markets where the state-owned enterprises are in. And I think some sectors like electricity and petroleum, I think it's the pricing that we have to fix first. So likewise, we have a series of actions that we have to take on bringing down the expenditure in the first place. I think also we have to consider the rationalizing and prioritizing of the defense expenditure as well, because that's one of the single largest expenditure item. But in the common minimum program, basically our broad idea is to freeze the public sector and do the green sheeting and allow, even if people are willing to move out from the public sector, because these pensionable jobs are very expensive on long run. So allow them to work outside. That's the main. Those are few ideas under the revenue side, expenditure side.